you want to learn how to crochet the Alpine stitch, you've come to the right place. Little John Yarns BS Free Tutorials. We're going to begin with an even number of chains. I'm starting with a chain of 20. So what I like to do, we're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. I prefer to work into the bumps because it gives a nice even edge. So now we're going to single crochet into each stitch all the way across. So pause your video here, continue placing single crochets all the way across, and I'll meet you at the other side. We've made it to the end of the row, and this is what it looks like. Double check your stitch count to make sure you have the amount of stitches that you need. Right now, I have 21 stitches. For your next row, we're going to chain 1. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We are going to double crochet into that very same first stitch right here. And we're going to double crochet in each stitch all the way across. So pause your video here, continue placing 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you make it to the other side. We've made it to the end of the row, and here's your work. So next, we're just going to chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet into that same stitch and to each stitch all the way across. So continue placing single crochets in each stitch all the way across until you make it to the other side. We've made it to the very end of this row, and make sure your stitch count is correct. Now we're going to begin the Alpine stitch. We're going to start by chaining 1 and turning your work. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. To do this stitch, I want you to pay very close attention on where I place my hook. For the first stitch, we are going to double crochet back into that very same stitch right here. Double crochet. For your second stitch, we are going to front post double crochet. So if this was your first stitch, here's your second. Front post double crochet. Followed by another double crochet. Since we already did this stitch here, our next stitch will be right next to it. You can tell the stitch because you can follow up the post and to the right, and that is your next stitch. We're going to double crochet right there. Remember, we're alternating double crochets and front post double crochets. So your next stitch will be a front post. This one will leave unworked because it connects to this stitch here. So the next post here, that's what we're going to be working into. Front post double crochet. Followed by a double crochet. You'll know the next stitch because here's the post. To the right, you stick your your hook right there. I'll show one more time for a front post double crochet. Yarn over. We already worked this stitch. The one next to it, front post double crochet. All right, I want you to continue alternating double crochets and front post double crochets all the way across. So pause your video here. We've made it to the other side, and we're just going to put that last double crochet in the last stitch. Now we're going to chain 1. Turn your work. We're just going to do a row of single crochets all the way across. So single crochet into the very same space and single crochet into each stitch all the way across. And when you're done, make sure your number count is correct. So pause your video here. We've made it to the very end of the row. So now we're just going to chain 1 and turn your work. We're just going to be alternating the stitches from before. As you can see, this front stitch right here, this first one, is pushed backwards. So therefore now we're going to make it a front post double crochet. So that first stitch is front post, push it forward, and complete your double crochet. And your next stitch is going to be a regular double crochet. So here's your previous front post, followed up to the right, place your double crochet. The further you build up on this pattern, the easier it will be to find each one of your stitches. So the next stitch will be a front post double crochet. You already did this one. So this stitch, let's push it forward to complete that front post double crochet. I'll show you one more time. The next one is a regular double crochet. As you can see, here's the previous row's front post double crochet. You travel up to the right, and there is your stitch. One more. Yarn over. Let's do that front post double crochet. You can tell which one's the front post double crochet next because it's pushed further back. Insert your crochet hook, push that stitch forward, and complete your front post double crochet. So now you can pause your video here, continue placing alternating double crochets and front post double crochets all the way across, and I'll meet you at the other side. I ended this row with a front post double crochet, and now you're just going to repeat those 4 rows over and over again until your alpine stitch is completed. Remember, next row, all you would do is a row of single crochets, followed by alternating front post and double crochets all the way across. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you check out my other crochet tutorials over here, and I'll see you all on the very next pattern. Bye, guys.